In this tutorial, I'll be showing you how to recreate the simple spinner blueprint located in the example demo map. All this does is it toggles spinning when you interact with it. This tutorial is more about the concept on how to create an interactable rather than creating interesting behavior for your interactable. The first thing we're going to do is create a new blueprint actor. I'm going to name this BP_demo spinner. Once I have this demo spinner, I'm going to do the basics that you need for every interactable. The first being going to my class settings and adding a BP generic interactable interface. Then I'm going to go to isFocusable and make sure this is returning true so that we can always interact with this object. Then I'm going to go to get interaction text and add press interact to toggle spinning. That for the most part is the minimum requirements for every interactable when implemented. Now we need to add our components. First I'm going to add my cube component, which will be the mesh that spins. Then I'm going to add a sphere component, or a sphere collision component, and bump up its radius. And this is the radius that when the player enters, they'll be able to interact with this cube. If they're not in this radius, they cannot interact with this cube. Now, as a minor performance optimization, I'm going to go down to overlap all dynamic in collision presets and change this to custom. Ignore everything and overlap with pawns only. There's no reason this collision should be overlapping with anything else, so we just set it to overlap only with pawns. Now we need to make this thing spin. I'm going to add an event here, event interact, and I'm going to add a flip-flop node, which simply means the first time this runs, it's going to run A, otherwise it's going to run B. Now to animate this cube, I'm going to animate it with a simple timeline. I'm going to double click this timeline, add a float track, and I'm going to add a key at 0 seconds with the value of 0 and another key at 5 seconds with the value of 360, and that's a full rotation. I'm going to check use last keyframe and autoplay, so that way this timeline starts and it's automatically spinning. Now because it's automatically spinning, the first time we interact with this, we should be stopping it, and then next time we interact, we should be playing this timeline. Now I'm going to rename this new track here to rotation, just because you should always name your timeline tracks. That way this pin here says rotation. Then I'm going to grab our cube here, and I'm going to call a function called set relative rotation. On update, I want to set this cube's rotation, and I'm going to make a rotator here because the only thing I need to rotate here is on the yaw axis here, and this is a very convenient way of doing so. And once that's all set up, we hit compile, save, and drag this into our world. You'll see that we have a replica of the simple spinner, fully interactable object that you can toggle on or off, and it spins. And again, this just shows you how quickly you can add an interactable. Now the behavior is up to you. In this case, the behavior is just toggling the timeline that spins. But that behavior could be eventually anything, whether it's opening a door or killing the moon, whatever you want. Now one thing I forgot to notice here is I forgot to check loop, which is why my cube stopped in this viewport. And there we go. There's your cube. Cool. Thanks for watching.